Hello, dear followers of the Beyond the Statue channel. The story I'm about to tell you today might be one of the greatest lies of modern history, or perhaps an unbelievable chain of coincidences. But I can guarantee you this, by the end of this video, the way you see the world will never be the same again. Do you remember the invasion of Iraq in 2003? Think back to what we were told: weapons of mass destruction, a mission to bring democracy, an operation for freedom. But what if I told you that while tanks were rolling through the streets of Baghdad, a group of soldiers and unknown civilians went directly to the Baghdad Museum, systematically looted specific halls, and caused artifacts thousands of years old to vanish? And even more intriguing, while some sections of the museum were completely ransacked, other sections were left almost completely untouched. Was this a coincidence or part of a much deeper plan? Now, let's examine the evidence with the precision of an archaeologist, but also combine it with the imagination of a science fiction writer. Because sometimes reality is far stranger than fiction. The Baghdad Museum was not just a museum. It was the memory of Mesopotamia, the cradle of humanity's earliest known civilizations: Sumerian clay tablets, Akkadian figurines, Babylonian mathematics, Assyrian astronomy. So why would invading forces protect strategic locations, bridges, power plants, oil facilities, but fail to protect a museum that held the shared heritage of all humanity? According to several reports, museum staff had warned U.S. authorities days in advance, please protect the museum. The response? Silence, and then chaos. Now stop. Take a deep breath and ask yourself this: what if the oil narrative was just a cover? What if the real target wasn't the black gold beneath the ground, but a treasure of knowledge buried beneath history itself? Because when you look at the list of missing artifacts, something becomes clear. The stolen items were not random. They were highly specific, focused on particular periods and subjects, especially Sumerian tablets. Do you know what's written on these tablets? Not just trade records or king lists, but creation stories, gods descending to earth, knowledge from the heavens, advanced mathematical formulas, astronomical maps, and according to some theorists, even encrypted texts that could hint at technologies far beyond their time. Whether you consider Zecharia Sitchin's translations controversial or not, one fact remains: these tablets speak of a transfer of knowledge far older than recorded history. Could the beings known as the Anunnaki, those who came from the sky, have brought knowledge and civilization to humanity? Or is this simply mythological exaggeration? But here's the real question: if these were just myths, why would a superpower go through all this trouble? Let's conduct a multidisciplinary cross-examination, because truth cannot be seen through the lens of a single discipline. What does archaeology tell us? 15,000 artifacts disappeared from the Baghdad Museum. Only a fraction were recovered, and most were considered low-priority items. What does history tell us? Mesopotamia has always been a target of great empires, not only for land, but for knowledge. What did Alexander the Great do when he entered Babylon? He seized libraries. Romans, Persians, empires rise and fall, but they all seek the same thing: knowledge. Because knowledge is power, and ancient, forgotten knowledge is even more powerful. What do anthropology and mythology tell us?
Civilizations across the world share strikingly similar creation stories. Gods descending from the sky, beings who impart knowledge, ancient humans moving massive stones. Not just in Mesopotamia, but in Egypt, South America, and the Far East. This cannot be coincidence. What does modern geopolitics tell us? The official justifications for the Iraq invasion have collapsed. No weapons of mass destruction were found. Democracy did not arrive, but chaos did. So who won? weapons manufacturers, oil corporations, of course, but perhaps also silent winners, private collectors, secret organizations, and those who control information itself. Let me give you a pop culture analogy. Think of the Indiana Jones films, an archaeologist fighting villains who seek ancient artifacts for power. The Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, objects that grant power. Cinema presents this as fantasy. But what if some ancient artifacts, some tablets, some knowledge truly does hold power? Not physical power, but technological, scientific, even spiritual power. We must separate signal from noise. The internet is flooded with nonsense, alien fantasies, wild conspiracies, baseless claims. But here is what I ask of you. Be skeptical, but not close-minded. Question everything, even what I'm saying, but do not blindly accept the mainstream narrative either, because history is written by the victors, and sometimes the truth lies far outside the official story. Now, let's examine the technical details. After the Baghdad Museum looting, how did the artifacts disappear? Some reports suggest the first people to enter the museum were professional thieves, individuals who knew exactly which display cases held what and how to disable alarm systems. Is that possible without insider information? No. So who provided that information? Museum staff? Intelligence agencies? Or something far darker? Some of the stolen tablets have appeared in private collections, some on the black market, and some who knows where. Perhaps right now in a laboratory being deciphered by specialists. So what might these tablets contain? Some researchers claim they include advanced knowledge of mathematics, chemistry, metallurgy, even electricity and energy production. There is an artifact known as the Baghdad Battery. Could electricity really have been generated in ancient times? Mainstream archaeology says no, it was merely decorative, but experiments have shown that this object can, in fact, produce voltage. Now think about this. If humans knew electricity thousands of years ago, what else did they know? And could this knowledge be hidden because it threatens the foundations of modern power structures, energy corporations, technology monopolies, the global order itself? There's more. Tablets from the Library of Nineveh include astronomical maps depicting not only planets visible to the naked eye, but planets discovered only with modern telescopes. How? How did the Sumerians know about Uranus and Neptune? I'll leave that question open. Now let's look at the history of religion. The Torah, the Bible, and the Quran all contain creation stories. But the Sumerian creation epic, Enuma Elish, is far older and far more detailed. Are there parallels? Absolutely. The flood story appears in the Epic of Gilgamesh, long before Noah's flood, and with far greater detail. This suggests that sacred texts may have drawn from much older sources. Does this invalidate religious belief? No, but it may suggest that these beliefs emerge from a shared human memory, a common reservoir of knowledge. And perhaps that is why certain powers do not want these tablets fully revealed, because they could destabilize the official narrative. In esoteric and mystical traditions, Mesopotamia has always been seen as the center of hidden knowledge. Hermetic traditions, Kabbalah, even Freemasonry reference Sumerian and Babylonian wisdom. As above, so below. The concept of microcosm and macrocosm all trace back to Mesopotamia. So what is the benefit of this knowledge for you, the viewer? Let me offer a simple analogy from quantum physics. In the quantum world, a particle can exist as both a wave and a particle until it is observed. The observer affects reality. History works the same way. Your perspective shapes what you see. The more you question, the more layers of truth are revealed. If you accept only the mainstream narrative, you see only one version of reality.
But when you explore multiple sources, when you step outside fossilized academic and religious frameworks, an entirely new world opens before you. This is not just intellectual curiosity, it is personal growth, an expansion of consciousness, because knowledge liberates. Now think about the societal impact. If we all question, investigate, and refuse to swallow prepackaged narratives, we become a conscious society, and conscious societies cannot be manipulated. That is why education systems often teach memorization instead of critical thinking, because those who question cannot be controlled. You, yes, you watching this right now, are no longer a passive consumer of information. You are a seeker of truth, and the purpose of this video is not to give you answers, but to teach you how to ask the right questions.
Now reconsider the questions I asked throughout this video. Was the invasion of Iraq really about oil or about seizing an ancient knowledge cache? Do Sumerian tablets contain lost technologies? Were ancient civilizations more advanced than we think? Who writes history and why? And most importantly, why are those who seek the truth so often obstructed? Now I ask something of you. After watching this video, do your own research. Look into the looting of the Baghdad Museum from multiple sources. Read the Sumerian tablets. Read Sitchin, but read him critically. Read Enuma Elish. Study ancient astronomical maps and draw your own conclusions. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think? Was there a hidden agenda behind the Iraq invasion? What might be hidden from us about ancient civilizations? And most importantly, how would learning this change your life? How would it change the way you see the world? Because I am not just sharing information with you, we are embarking on a journey together, a journey in pursuit of truth through the dusty pages of history, beyond the rigid walls of academia and dogma. And on this journey, you are just as important as I am, because your questions, your research, your doubts, and your curiosity will deepen this story even further. Remember, history repeats itself, but only for those who fail to learn its lessons. Let us learn, let us seek the truth, and let us never, ever accept what we are told without questioning it. I'll leave you with one final question. What if everything is not as it seems? What if the greatest secrets of history are still being hidden from us? Are you ready to learn the truth, or do you prefer the comfort of convenient lies? The choice is yours. But remember, knowledge is power, and truth is freedom.